Apple's biggest launch season is almost here. And if you're searching for the iPhone 18 Pro release date, iPhone 18 Pro Max release date, and the first ever folding iPhone release window, the most reliable clues are already hiding in Apple's own habits. Because Apple may say it doesn't follow a routine, but year after year, the company's September iPhone event timeline tends to fall into a pattern. And once you lock in the most likely keynote day, you can map out the entire schedule: the Apple event announcement date, keynote day, iPhone 18 Pro pre-order date, and the day the new iPhones go on sale. So let's break down the latest schedule predictions, what's most likely, what's still uncertain, and why the 2026 Apple September event could be one of the biggest in years, thanks to iPhone 18 Pro, iPhone 18 Pro Max, and the long-rumored foldable iPhone. First, the key question: when is Apple's iPhone 18 Pro keynote? Right now, the most realistic prediction is Wednesday, September 9th. There's also a strong argument for Tuesday, September 8th, and you'll see those two dates everywhere because Apple almost always targets that exact early September window. But if you zoom out and look at Apple's history, September 9th has one major advantage. It fits Apple's usual post-Labor Day rhythm. Labor Day in the US lands on Monday, September 7th this year. And Apple has a long history of avoiding an iPhone special event on the very next day after Labor Day. Not rarely, essentially never. Apple likes a clean runway after a holiday, especially for travel, rehearsals, press coordination, and all the moving parts that come with packing the Steve Jobs Theater with attendees. That's why Wednesday, September 9th, feels like the safest bet for the iPhone 18 Pro event date. Now, the next big question: when will Apple announce the date of the September keynote? Here's where the timeline becomes even more interesting because Apple's event reveal pattern has shifted in recent years. It used to be common for Apple to send out keynote invites about 1 week before the event. But more recently, Apple has leaned into a 2-week notice. That means if the keynote is on September 9th, the Apple event announcement date would likely land exactly 2 weeks earlier. 2 weeks before Wednesday, September 9 is Wednesday, August 26th, so if you're waiting for the official Apple invitation graphic, the tagline, the press email, and the calendar confirmation, August 26 is the date to circle. Could Apple announce it on August 25 or August 27 instead? Absolutely. Apple can always shift by a day. But if you're tracking the most probable window, the last week of August is the sweet spot, and August 26 is the cleanest match to the 2 weeks before pattern. And there's another reason late August makes perfect sense. IFA, the massive European tech show in Berlin, runs in early September and brings a flood of hardware news from every major brand. Apple traditionally likes to grab attention right before that news cycle kicks into full gear. With IFA running September 5th through September 9, Apple announcing its iPhone keynote in late August helps it dominate headlines before the show begins and keeps the spotlight from drifting to everyone else. Now, let's map the full iPhone 18 Pro release timeline, because this is what most people really want. If the iPhone 18 Pro and iPhone 18 Pro Max are announced at an Apple event on Wednesday, September 9th, the most likely schedule looks like this. Apple keynote event. Wednesday, September 9 iPhone 18 Pro pre-orders, Friday. September 11 iPhone 18 Pro release date, on sale in stores, Friday. September 18, that Friday release is the traditional Apple move. Announce in early to mid-week, open pre-orders on Friday, then ship and sell the following Friday. So when you see people predicting September 18th as the iPhone 18 Pro on-sale date, it isn't random. It's the standard Apple rollout, assuming the keynote lands on September 9th. Now let's talk about the wild card, the folding iPhone. Yes, the foldable iPhone is expected to be unveiled in the same season. Yes, it could even appear at the same September keynote. But the bigger mystery is when the folding iPhone will actually go on sale.
इन नए कैमरास को
Apple
देखिए।
can reveal a product
ये
and still
सचमुच-
delay availability. We've seen it happen with new categories, limited supply devices, and products with complex manufacturing. A foldable iPhone would easily qualify as all three. So here's the realistic expectation. iPhone 18 Pro and iPhone 18 Pro Max are likely to go on sale first, most likely September 18th, while the foldable iPhone release date may be later depending on supply, production yields, and Apple's confidence in launch volume. In other words, don't assume announced. Automatically means available the next week, especially for Apple's first folding iPhone. Next question, Will Apple's iPhone 18 Pro keynote be live, or will it stay pre-recorded? You may have heard recent chatter suggesting Apple is gearing up for an in-person iPhone event, and that wording has sparked speculation that Apple could return to a fully live keynote with live demos. Here's the reality. In-person doesn't automatically mean live. Apple can host a packed room at the Steve Jobs Theater and still run a highly produced, pre-recorded keynote on the big screen, while executives appear on stage between segments or for brief intros and transitions. And Apple has very good reasons to keep the modern format. The pre-recorded presentations are precise, polished, and controlled. They let Apple show product shots perfectly, switch locations instantly, and deliver a seamless narrative without the risks that come with live demos. And yes, Apple has had demos go wrong in the past, and a major iPhone keynote is not where you want surprises. Now, could Apple tweak the format? Sure. You might see more stage moments, more live audience interaction, maybe even a small live demo that's tightly rehearsed. But if you're expecting a full throwback keynote style where everything happens live on stage for 2 hours, don't count on it. Apple loves control, and the modern Apple keynote is built for control. Now let's bring it back to what this schedule actually means for you, especially if you're trying to plan an upgrade. If you're waiting to buy iPhone 18 Pro or iPhone 18 Pro Max, the practical dates to watch are late August, likely August 26, Apple keynote announcement early September, September 8th or September 9. iPhone 18 Pro announcement at the September event, that same week Friday, likely September 11, iPhone. 18 Pro pre-order date following Friday, likely September 18th iPhone. 18 Pro release date, on sale date, and if you're watching the folding iPhone, your strategy should be slightly different. Watch the same keynote dates for the reveal, but be prepared for a different on-sale timeline, possibly later in September, or even into October, especially if Apple positions the foldable as a premium, limited supply device at launch. One more reason this matters: competition timing. Apple doesn't just pick September because it's tradition. Apple picks September because it wants to set the tone for the entire fall tech season. It's a power move. Drop the next iPhone and force every other smartphone headline to compete with Apple's momentum. That's why predicting Apple's keynote date isn't just a fan exercise. It affects pricing, trade-in timing, pre-order planning, accessory launches, carrier promos, and even when older models start seeing discounts. So if you want the short version of the most likely iPhone 18 Pro event timeline, here it is. Most likely Apple iPhone 18 Pro keynote date, Wednesday. September 9 most likely Apple event announcement date, Wednesday. August 26 most likely iPhone 18 Pro and iPhone 18 Pro Max pre-order date, Friday. September 11 most likely iPhone 18 Pro release date, on sale, Friday. September 18 foldable iPhone, expected to be revealed in the same season, but the on-sale date may differ. Now the final piece, why you should still treat all of this as a prediction until Apple confirms it. Because Apple can always change the calendar. A single production issue, a last-minute internal decision, a scheduling conflict, or a shift in marketing strategy can move the keynote by a day, or even reshape the rollout for specific products like the folding iPhone. But based on Apple's pattern, the post-Labor Day timing, and the 2-week event announcement trend, the most likely scenario remains: event reveal in late August, keynote on September 9th. iPhone 18 Pro on sale, September 18th. Now it's just a waiting game until Apple sends the invite, and the entire iPhone 18 Pro release schedule becomes official.